Hey guys, what's going on? Emmanuel here, back to another tutorial today. Now in today's tutorial, I'm going to build this beautiful sign up page using React, Tailwind CSS, and then we're going to sprinkle in some TypeScript in there for static typing. Now it's a very simple and straightforward project right here. When we click on sign in, it's going to render the sign in component, and when we click on sign up, it's going to render the sign up component. Now this application right now is a single page application. What we are doing right here is that we are conditionally rendering this component based on the state of its parent component. Now this sign up and sign in components are different components. Now when the state of the parent component is in sign up, we are going to render the sign up component. Now when we click on this sign in component, it's going to fire a function that's going to set the state of the parent component to sign in. So when I click on sign in, it's going to change the state of the parent component to sign in, and then the sign in component is going to be rendered. Now that's basic conditional rendering in React, and we are going to learn all that in this tutorial. Now if you're excited about this tutorial, smash on that like button and leave a random comment below. It's going to help the YouTube algorithm push this video to more people who are going to find it helpful, and also it's actually going to mean a lot to me if you smash on that like button. And lastly, if you don't subscribe, ensure you do that and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next tutorial. Let's dive into it. Now we're not going to be starting this project from absolute scratch. I already have React and Tailwind CSS installed in my project. Now if you'd like to see a guide where I teach you how to install React using Vite in 2025, I'm going to leave a link to that video in the description below. Now in my Visual Studio Code right now in my app.css, where I can see I have a h1 tag called hello everybody, and I'm applying two Tailwind utility class, text2xl and text center. Now when I return to the web page, you can see right now I have this h1 tag right here in the center of the web page, which means our Tailwind CSS utility classes are working. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually create a new React component. I want to come up here and create a folder. I want to call this folder components. Then the first component I'm going to create is going to be the auth component, auth.tsx rfc. Then my app.css, so I'm just going to get rid of this h1 tag right here. Then I'm just going to call the auth component. I'm going to save that. So when I return back to my web page, you can see right now we have this little auth text in the web page. Let me zoom this out. You can see it right here. Now in our auth.css, so I'm going to get rid of this auth right here. Now I'm going to say this div is going to take a class name, and the class name is going to be hscreen. I'm going to give the container a view height of 100 vh. So when I hover over this class, you can see right now height of 100 vh. Then I want to give it a flex container. Then I will say justify center, then item center. I like the items vertically center. Then I'll give it a background of purple 950. I'm going to save that. Now when I return back to the web page, you can see right now that our container is now in the web page and it's occupying 100 view height of the web page. Now we don't actually want this purple color as the background of our web page. Now what we want to do is that we want something like a gradient. We want the gradient to start at blue at the top of the web page, and at the bottom of the web page is going to transition to purple. So let's do that. Let me close this up so you can see our code better. Then instead of bg purple 950, I'll say bg gradient. Then I will say to bottom. Then I will say start from this color right here. Then to purple 950. Now when I return to the web page, you can see our background gradient is looking really good. It's starting from blue at the top, then transitioning to purple at the bottom. Now I'm going to create another div right here. This is the div that's going to have our form div. Then this is going to have a class name of bg f0 f4 f8. And this is going to be like a white background color. Then it's going to have a max width of xm. Now what this max width xm property is going to do is going to give our input form container a maximum width. Now for large screen devices, maybe like a laptop, is going to have a maximum width. If you hover on this class, you can see right now the maximum width is going to be 384 pixels. While for smaller devices, I want a width of 19%. I want to give it a padding of 4, a rounded of LG, that's large border radius, then a shadow of LG, that's large box shadow. Now inside this div right here, I'm going to create a div that's going to house my h2 tag, which is going to be my h2, and this h2 is going to say sign up. I want to save that. When I return back to my web page, you can see our form container does not have a background of white. What's happening? Okay, yeah, I didn't put the hash right here. It's a hex color. So yeah, our white background has been applied. You can see our form is actually coming to life. I want to give this div right here a class name of my4. And this is basically margin vertical, margin top and bottom. Then I want to give all the text inside this container. I want it to have a text of center. I want to save that. Then in my h2 tag right here, I want to give this a class name. I'm going to say text 2xl. Then I'm going to give it a font weight of bold, bold. Then lastly, I want to give it a text color of purple. Let me use purple 900. Then I'm going to save that. Now our h2 tag is looking really good. Now it's time for us to add that little line underneath this h2 tag. So I want to create a div. Now this div is going to have a class name of width of 10%. I just want it to have 10% of width. Then I want the margin to be auto, mx auto. Then I want it to have a height of 1. Then a rounded of full. Then a background color of purple 900. I want to save that. Now that line is not in our web page, but it's too close to our sign up page. So is either we give the line a margin top or we give our h2 tag a margin bottom. So I'm just going to give my h2 tag a margin bottom. So I'm going to return to my h2 tag. I'm going to say it's going to have a margin bottom of 2. I want to save that. Alright, this looks way better. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to create a form. Now this form is going to take a div, which is going to be the container that's going to house our input. Then I'm going to type in the input. Now our first input is going to be of type text, and the placeholder is going to be name. I'll just get rid of this. This is not going to be needed in this tutorial. Now we have our input in the web page. You can type on our input. Now let's actually style this input. Now inside this div right here, I'm going to give it a class. Then I'm going to say flex. You make it display first and justify the content at the center of the web page. Now for the input, I want this input to have a width of 90%. I want it to occupy 90% of its parent container. Then I want it to have a BG of gray 200. Then a padding of 2, padding 2. Then an outline of none. I don't want it to have any outline. I want to save that. And yeah, our input is looking very good. Now I want this input to have a little border radius, nothing too much. So I'm going to say rounded extent, just a little border radius. Then the placeholder, so I have a color of gray 400, and the text of SM, small font size. Save that. Yeah, that's really good. Now we want this input to have a margin at the top and at the bottom. So I'm going to return to my code. I'm going to give this little input a margin vertical of 3, margin top and bottom. Then when I save that, you can notice that there's not a space between the sign up h2 text and the input, and this is actually looking way more better. Now in our preview project, we saw that we had an icon on the left hand side of this input. So let's actually start working on that now. I don't have icons installed in my project yet, so let's actually install in icons from React library. So I'm going to go over here and create a new terminal. I'm going to cd into the sign up page projects. Then I'm going to say npm install React icons. Click on enter. And that has been installed. So let's start making use of React icons in our project. I want to close this off now. And the first icon I'm going to call is going to be the user icon, far user from font awesome. I'm just going to import that in. Now in the web page right now, you can now see our icon in the form. So let's start styling up our icon. Now the first thing we are going to do is that we want to position this icon absolute to its parent container. Now we want this icon to be positioned absolute right here. So let's work on that. First off, I want to give this container a position of relative. I'm going to say relative. Then I'm going to give this icon right here a class name of absolute. Now we have to specify where we want this icon to be positioned inside the parent container. I want it to be positioned at the left of 6. Then I'm going to say top 1/2. Then you can see right now the icon is positioned on the left hand side of our input, but it's not centered vertically. We want this icon to be centered vertically. So let's work on that. Now to ensure this icon is actually centered vertically in that input, I'm going to give it a transform property. I'm going to say transform, then negative translate. Now I want it to be centered vertically in the y-axis. I want to save that. Now when we return to this web page right now, you can see right now our icon is now positioned on the left hand side of our input perfectly. Now we are going to face another problem right here. You're going to notice right now that our icon now covers part of our input. Now you can notice right now that this name placeholder in our input is being covered by the icon, and anytime I type on my input, part of my text is being covered by the icon. Now how do we solve this problem? Now what we are going to do is that we're going to give this input a left padding to like shift it to the right hand side a bit. I'm going to return to my input and I'm going to say I want this to have a padding left of 8. Then I'm going to save that. Now when we return to the web page, when we type on our input, you can see right now the icon is no longer covering our input. Our input now like pads itself to the right hand side a bit. So I'm going to give this icon a text color of gray 500. Right now we've completely styled up our input and it's looking really good. Now it's time for us to now add our email and password inputs. Now since I want to order input right here for my email and my password, what I could do is I'll just copy this user input right here and I'll paste it twice. But the problem is that all the Tailwind classes we added to this input and this icon right here are going to be repeated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a style object that is going to have these 2 styles right here. Then anytime I want to make use of those styles, I just call on the object. So I'm going to come up here, then I'm going to say const styles is equals to right here. Then the first style is going to be the icon style. Then I'm just going to copy these styles I added to this icon right here. I'm going to cut that. Then I'm going to paste that in here. Then the next style is going to be for the inputs. Then I'm going to just cut these right here. I'm going to cut this style right here. Then I'm going to paste that right here. Now instead of hard coding these styles on the class name, I'm going to just call the object. I'll say styles.icon. Then I'm going to come here. Then I'll say styles.input. I'll save that. Now in our web page right now, you can see nothing really changes. Our styles are still applied accordingly. But the difference here is that our code is now cleaner and we are not going to be repeating ourselves. Let's also do the same thing for this input container right here. I'm going to cut this off. Then I'm going to come up here. Then I'm going to say this is going to be input container. Then I'm going to paste that styles right here. And instead of hard coding the styles to this input container, I'm going to say styles.input container. Yeah. Now I could copy this and paste it twice right here. Then instead of having a placeholder of name, it's going to be a placeholder of email. Then it's going to be of type email. Then the icon is not going to be file user, it's going to be file envelope. Then for this one, it's going to be of type password. Then it's not going to have a placeholder of name, it's going to have a placeholder of password. Then instead of file user as the icon, it's going to be file lock. It's going to be like a padlock. I'm going to save that. Then when we return to our web page, you can see our form is looking really Good. Now after our form right now, I'm going to create another div right here. Then this is going to have a class name of margin vertical of 2. Then a display of flex, then justify content at the center. Then we're going to have a p tag. Then this p tag is going to say already have an account. Then it's going to have another p tag that is going to say sign in. Now you can see we have that little container right here. Now what we can do next is actually reduce the font size of these p tags right here. To do that, I'm just going to give this class name a text of XM. Reduce the font size of the text inside of the container to about 14 pixels right here. Then I'm going to give this one a class name. Then I'm going to give it a margin left of 1. Then a text color of purple 800. Then a font weight of font bold. And yeah, that's looking really good. Next, we're going to create another div underneath here. This is the div that's going to have our sign up and our sign in buttons. So I'm going to say this is going to have a class. The container is going to have a class of flex, then justify center, obviously, then a gap of 3. I want the gap between the two buttons to be 3. Next, I can start putting in those div. I can put in the div, and I'll put in the span. Then this one is going to be sign up. Then the next one is going to be signing. I'm going to save that. Now you can see our two texts right here, sign up and sign in, but they are too close to this container right here. So I'm going to give the container a margin. So I'm going to say my, let's say 4, let me use 6. Yeah, that's really good. Now let's actually start styling up our sign up and our sign in buttons. So I'm going to come over to the first button. I'm going to give this a class name of BG purple, then 800, then a padding top and bottom of 2, that's py2, padding on the vertical, then padding on the horizontal, then that's padding left and right. Then I want the border radius to be full, 50%, that's 100 full. And I want the text to be of text white. And lastly, I want it to be of text bold and cursor of pointer. Save that. And that's looking really good. Now let's style up the sign-in button. So for the sign-in button, I'm going to give this a class name. It's literally going to have the same properties as this first button, except for the background color and the text color. So I'm going to copy this property right here. Then I'm going to just paste that on the sign-in button. Then instead of having a background of purple, I'm going to say background gray of 200. Then the text color is not going to be white, it's going to be text gray, let me say 500 or 600. And with that, we are done styling up the UI of our sign up page using Tailwind CSS. Now what we are going to do next is create a sign-in component. So when we click on sign in, it's going to render the sign-in component. Then when we click on sign up, it's going to render the sign up component. Now before we create our sign-in component, I want to first of all create a sign up component. I want to go over to my components folder and create a component. I want to call this component sign up.tsx. Now I'm going to use RFC to create a React functional component with React snippets. Then I'm going to get rid of everything here. Now I'm going to cut everything from this auth component except for the parent div container. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to cut this off. Just cut this off. Then in my signup.tsx file, I'm just going to paste that right here. Return this. Then I'm going to go over to my auth.tsx file. Then I'm going to copy these styles and this import statement right here. I'm going to cut this off. Go back to my sign up component. Then I'll paste that right here. Now in our web page, you're going to notice that our form is not inside the web page. And that's because we've not called on the sign up component in our auth.tsx file. So I'm going to head over there. I want to say I want to call on that sign up component. I'm just going to import that in. Now you can see right now that our form is back in the web page. Now we can create our sign-in component. I want to go over here. I want to create another component. I want to call this component sign-in.tsx. RFC. Now as usual, I'm going to get rid of everything here. go over to my signup.tsx file. I'm going to copy everything from this JSX right here. Then I'm going to paste that in here. And also I'm going to copy the import statement and the styles right here. Then I'll just go up here and paste that right here. Now we have to make some changes. Now instead of sign up, I'm going to say this is going to be sign in. I'm going to scroll down. Now in the sign in component, that's the login components, we are not going to be needing the name. So I'm going to take this off. We just need the email and the password input fields. Then I'm going to scroll down here. Then instead of already having like a sign in, I'm going to say put in sign up here. They're going to say don't have an account. Don't have an account. Don't have an account. Then you're going to say sign up. Now for the background of this sign up here, I want it to be BG gray 200. And for the sign in, I want it to be a background of BG purple 800. Then also this one is going to be text gray 600. Then text white. Save that. Then I'm going to head to the parent component and call in the signing component. I'm going to go over and say sign in. Import that in. Save that. Now when we come back to the web page, you can see right now we have both our sign up and our signing components being rendered to the UI. Now we don't want both of them simultaneously in the UI. We want one at a time. When the state of the component, as the parent component, is in signing, we want the signing component to be rendered, and when the state is in sign up, we want the sign up components to be rendered. Now to do that, we're going to create a state in this component. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say const auth page set auth page, and is equals to the useState hook from React. Now I want the initial value of this state to be signed in. Now since we are making use of TypeScript, we can actually specify the only types of data that this state is going to take. Now I want this state to only take two data. First of all, it's going to take a sign-in string, then it's going to take a sign up string. Now to test if this is actually working, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say set auth page. Now when I set this auth page to a value that TypeScript is going to take, you can see right now there's actually no error. But when I take off this in, I just use send, you're going to see TypeScript is going to throw an error right here. You're going to see argument of type send is not assignable to parameter of type set state action sign in and sign up, which means this state is only going to take two string values, sign in and sign up. So I'm going to get rid of this. Now what I want to do now is conditionally render these two components right here, this sign up and sign in component right here, based on the state of this auth page. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say, put in a squiggly bracket, I'm going to say auth page, if it's equivalent to sign in, then I want to render the sign in component. I'm going to render this sign in component right here. As I just want to render the sign up components. Format this document. Now when I save that and return back to my web page, you can see right now we have our signing component being rendered to the UI. Now that's because the auth page state is set to sign in. If I come up here and change this state to sign up and save that, when I return back to my web page, you can see right now we have the sign up page being rendered to the UI. So I'm going to change this back to sign in. Change this back to sign in. Now in a reward application, we're not going to be coming up here all the time. I'm changing this from sign in to sign up and sign up to sign in. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to create a function that is going to toggle between these two states. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say const toggle auth page is equals to an arrow function. Now in this function, I just want to set the auth page. First of all, I want to get the initial state of this auth page, previous auth page. Then I just want to check if that previous value is equivalent to signing. Now, if that value is equivalent to sign in, I want to set it to sign up. Then if it's not equals to sign in, then I want to set it to sign in. Now let me break down what this function is doing. Now in React, the useState hook takes two values. Right now, this sign in value right here is being assigned to this as a variable right here. So this auth page is equals to this sign in right now. But this set auth page is the value we are going to use to update the state. Say you want to update this sign in to sign up. This is the function we are going to call. When we say set auth page, I'm going to pass in the value we want to set it to. Then this toggle auth page function I created, here's what I'm doing. Now I'm saying set auth page. I'm getting the initial value of this auth page. Right now, the initial value of this auth page is going to be sign in. Now it's going to check if the previous auth page is equivalent to sign in. Now if it's equals to sign in, when this function runs, it's going to change the state to sign up. Now if it's not equivalent to sign in, which means the current state is sign up, then it's going to change it to sign in. Now the button we are going to be adding the event handler to actually trigger this function is not inside this current component. It's inside this sign in and sign up component, which means we have to pass this function to this component as props. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to say toggle auth page. It's going to be a prop. It's going to take in this function toggle auth page. Then I'm going to do the same thing for this sign up component right here. I'm going to paste that prop in here. I'll just format the document. Now we can go to our signing component and actually make use of this prop. So I want to go to my signing component. Now right here, this is where I'm going to destructure these properties into this component right here. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say toggle auth page. Now you can see right now we have a TypeScript error. Binding element toggle auth page implicitly has any type TypeScript. Now what that means is that we are passing in this prop into this component, but we are not telling TypeScript the kind of data type this prop is. Now to solve this problem, we're going to come up here and actually create that type. I'll say type sign in prop is equals to this object right here. That's going to take a function called toggle auth page, and this is going to be a function that is just going to return nothing, going to return void. Now in here you can pass in that type right here. I'm going to say sign in prop. Now you can see our TypeScript error is gone. TypeScript is happy. Now we are going to scroll all the way down to our buttons right here. Then I want to add an event handler to this div right here. I want to say on click of this div right here, I want to run a function that's going to fire that toggle auth page function. Then I want to copy that and also pass it to this div tag button right here. Now we are going to repeat everything we did in our signing component in our sign up component. We're going to go over to our sign up component, and first of all, we're going to destructure that prop. I'm going to say toggle auth page. Then we have to pass in the TypeScript type here. So I'm going to come over here and just copy that type right here. Then we'll head over here and just paste that over here. Then instead of sign in prop, it's going to be sign up prop. Then over here, I'll just say sign up prop. So you can head down to this button down here. I'm just going to say on click of this button right here, on click, I want to run an arrow function that's just going to set up that toggle auth page. Then I'm going to copy that. Then I'll just paste that right here. All right, now let's go and test our application. So I'm going to head over to my web page right now. Right now I'm in the sign in component right here. It's displaying the sign in component. So when I click on sign up, it's going to display the sign up component right here. When I click on sign in, it's going to display the sign in component. Now that is it for this tutorial. Now if you enjoyed this tutorial, smash on that like button and leave a random comment below. It's going to help the YouTube algorithm push this tutorial to more people who are going to find it helpful. And if you've not subscribed, ensure you do that and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next React tutorial. I'll see you in the next video.